簡単には死なせないよ。
お寿司ちゃん、どうしたんですか？メリークリスマス。
Alright, well, guys, follow us back again, coming at you with the top 10 speed characters that were released in, well, not released in 2021, just the top 10 characters to finish off the end of the year for speed. And let's just get right into it. First and foremost, we do have the newly and resurrected Kokuto. He was given a strong attack damage plus 16% for the soul trait, and he was also given Havoc 20%. Honestly, the Havoc 20% really makes the character, in my opinion, because before he literally had a 475 lunge for strong attack, he had the 800 second strong attack, and a 1000 into, I think, like 6, is it 675? Let me pull out my calculator. Click here. Let me move that here. 810 divided by 1.2. Yeah, a 675. So it's a 1000 into 675. Biake, a third strong attack where it's a vacuum into an explosion. So him getting Havoc literally gives him a 570 into a 960 AoE distance second, and then a 1200 into a 810 explosion third strong attack. This is a really good strong attack for crowd control, in my opinion, but his only real issue is he doesn't have status elements everywhere, just his third strong attack. So, I mean, it does kind of hurt him a little bit. Overall, though, he did get resurrected into a completely playable character. Next on the list, we do have Shigekuni Yamamoto, and honestly, he's mainly here as an honorable mention just because he did kind of change the game up. He is actually, I believe, the first character to get the 2500 length beam, first strong attack, as well as the 800 AoE distance second strong attack, and then the full screen third strong attack. He was outshadowed by this Eachine, who literally does everything that this Yamamoto does, except for the fact that this Eachine also has Havoc 20% and Berserker 20% with the speed attribute Captain Strong Attack damage plus 20%. That honestly changes up the game quite a lot, because it's just like, why use him if Eachine just does it better, right? Next, he does have Frenzy, Debilitator plus 2 seconds, no Havoc, no Berserker. That's really what holds him down quite a bit. And yeah, I mean, overall, he's still a pretty good character, but I did want to give him an honorable mention just because he did change the game up when he came out. Next on the list, we do have Bazby. Bazby, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I feel like Bazby should have been on the list. He does have burn on all of his attacks. Honestly, I feel like burn is kind of an inferior status element in this day and age outside of Senkaimon. Strong attack recharge minus 12%, Arankar killer, Berserker 20%, Havoc 20%. Now this is honestly what changes him up for me personally. Increased status element chance against power attribute Arankar's plus 10%. The fact that this character has Disabler, I feel like that helps him immensely in content like Ultra IT and in content where he'll have killer. Say extreme co-op, where else? Yeah, mainly like extreme co-op as well as inheritance trial. Now obviously there is Noelle for inheritance trial now with her super speed link slot super power link slot potions plus 5 skill, but that doesn't mean that Bazby's bad in IT, right? And since IT is currently the hardest content in the game, his only real issue is that his third strong attack is an AoE around himself, not an AoE distant like 5th anniversary Ichigo, for example. His second strong attack is the 960, and his first strong attack is a standard lunge. So he has almost the same kit as 5th anniversary Ichigo. The only difference is his third strong attack is an AoE around himself and not an AoE distant, which I personally find superior. Next on the list, and number 10 on the list, starting it off, Grimjaw. I really do believe that Bazby is better than Grimjaw, but that's just because I mean, I guess it might be personal bias. Personally, like, Grimjaw does have a no affiliation killer, which I think kind of holds him back a little bit. No affiliation has been put more in the forefront, so a lot of more enemies are no affiliation than ever before, which is good. Strong attack recharge minus 14% as his soul trait. Berserker 40%, Havoc 20%. Frenzy and follow-up plus 1. The follow-up plus 1 makes no sense on this character because he's the SP based character, so having him be able to use his normal attack damage string while the enemies are on the ground just seems kind of stupid. Power link slot potions plus 5. He is one of the 4 power link slot potions plus 5 characters, the others being Ruruka. Wait, not Ruruka. The others being Christmas Momo, Retsu, as well as Noelle. And yeah, Retsu and Noelle, in my opinion, just do it better. For his soul tree, he does have fire immunity and read no affiliation dodges. The read no affiliation dodges, in my opinion, isn't all that valuable outside of Senkaimon and potentially the small / medium scrolls quests, where he will be good for getting attack scrolls. But aside from that, he is a good character. Lunge first strong attack, 960 AoE second, full screen third. I think my only real issue with this character is he doesn't have any status elements, and his Berserker is kind of low for a end of the month banner character with no status elements. Like, Berserker 40% is kind of low considering that now we're getting like crazy characters like art book Ichigo with like 60% berserker with weakening, for example. Like that's just insane. Number 9 on the list. All right, now going into number 9 on the list, we do have Bambita. Bambita is still an excellent character. Strong attack recharge minus 12%, Soul Reaper killer, Berserker 20%, Havoc 20%, damage to burning enemies plus 20%, Devastation 40%, Bruiser 20%, Sprinter plus 1. Her kit's actually quite interesting. No innate skills, burn on all of her attacks. Her first strong attack is actually an AoE distant range collision for a strong attack that'll push the enemy back into a shave, and then the AoE distant explosion. This is going to be the same as the same as Halloween Soifon, for example. It is a good first strong attack in my opinion. Second strong attack is going to be the AoE distant 960 AoE, and then standard full screen third strong attack. The cons to this character is that in epic raids, if you're using this character, it's very, very hard to see the ground, so you better start paying attention to when the enemies actually pop off their attacks. But overall, still an excellent character to this day. Personally, I feel like she should be under Bazby personally, just because I feel like she doesn't have disabler that really helps her get that burn off. The burn is nice, but I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I still feel like Bazby should have been on this list, but I mean, it is what it is. Next on the list, sitting at number 8, and that is Kirinji. Now, keep in mind that Kirinji is still an excellent character, and speed is honestly quite stacked at this point in terms of just overall value and power. Kirinji has a lunge for strong attack, a 3000 length beam, second strong attack, and a 1170 third strong attack. The 1170 AoE distant third strong attack is, in my opinion, one of the best in the game. My only issue with this character is, like, if he had a 3000 length beam, first strong attack, and the 1170 third, he would be so much better. He has paralysis on all of his attacks and the revive mechanic on his special move, so having him at least one time in the party is really, really, really good. Berserker 20%, Havoc 20%, speed, attribute, Soul Reaper, strong attack damage plus 20% is really, really nice to buff like 5th anniversary Biake is. He does have Sprinter plus 2, Frenzy, and Devastation 40% with the Debilitator plus 5 seconds. I don't believe he has any innate skills. I think that was before his time. Yep. But overall, still an incredible character. I personally love this character. My only issue with him really is no, I actually don't even have any issues with him. He's damn good. He is that damn good. Next on the list, sitting at number 7, we do have Spirit Society Ichigo. Now, a lot of people were like hating on this character, but the reality of it is this character is not bad. It's just he's kind of underwhelming for the meta. He's just super underwhelming for what he should have been, to be honest. Speed, attribute, Soul Reaper, damage to status element affect the enemies plus 20%. In my opinion, that's pretty negligible unless he has killer, which if you have hollow killer, it's like, why are you not using Noelle? Why are you not using like characters like Jushiro, for example? Bruiser 20%, debilitator plus 5 seconds, weaken and burn on all of his attacks, which is really good. Devastation plus 40%, and he does have frenzy plus 2. The fact that he has frenzy plus 2 along with the 18% mag for strong attack and the Bankai Ikone second strong attack, which is a vacuum into a pushback range collision attack, is actually really good. He does have disabler, which means that he'll be able to proc this even more if he has killer, but even without killer, he should be able to do just fine. My only real concern with this character, despite him having sharpshooter, which is also guard break, stems from the fact that his second strong attack actually has a miniature stall in between the vacuum and the pushback attack. Most characters don't actually have that kind of stall, but if you play with this character, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sprinter plus 1, and for his innate skills, he does have team party stamina recovery, dodge hollow damage plus 50%, and freeze immunity. The fact that this dude is a team healer is actually pretty nice, especially considering that having him as a one-of in the party could really be helpful. My only issue with this is really that this team's party stamina recovery does not stack. So if you have like 4 Spirit Society Ichigos, you're still only healing 20%. You are not healing 80%. Not really sure if that's necessary or not, but I mean, it is what it is. Overall, still a good character in my opinion. It's just, I feel like some other people just outweigh him in terms of value. Alright, so going to number 6 on the list, we do have Spirit Society White Ichigo. Normal attack damage plus 20% as his soul trait. He does have a no affiliation killer, which usually I feel like that holds people back, but he has a bruiser of 50% total when you combine the soul trait. He does have flurry plus 1, guard break, poise, and sprinter plus 1, and then he also has strong attack recharge minus 12%. He has a walking vortex for a second strong attack, which is actually pretty good for crowd control if you need it, and he doesn't have to rely on it because he has guard break, which is good. Damage to weaken enemies plus 20%. He doesn't have devastation, but the damage to weaken enemies plus 20% is really nice considering that he has the debuff mechanic on his special move, which in my opinion is way superior compared. Oh, he has debuff and weakening on his special move, which is superior to devastation in my opinion. So I'm glad that he got these skills and sacrificed any of these for the devastation. Going into his innate skills, he is immune to fire. He has a 1000 by 1000 length beam for strong attack. This is going to be the shotgun like blast, same as swimsuit Apache, for example. Second strong attack is going to be the 575. It is the walking vortex, as I was explaining earlier. And then on top of that, his third strong attack is just a standard full screen third strong attack. Overall, just a powerhouse of a character. He's really good, especially in content like guild quest, epic raids, etc. Next on the list, we do have at number 5 Eachine, and we spoke about him in length. This character is incredibly powerful, and in my opinion, probably the fastest clear in this and probably one of the fastest clearers in this top 5 list in my opinion. Speed attribute, captain strong attack damage plus 20%, berserker 20%, bruiser 20%, havoc 20%, frenzy, devastation 40%, debilitator plus 2 seconds, burn on all of his attacks. He does have a hollow killer, and he also has sprinter plus 1. For his innate skills, he is immune to poison, and he does have read hollow dodges, which is good in some Senkaimon stages. Going into his attacks, he has the 3000 length beam, the 960 AoE distance second, and the full screen third strong attack, as we talked about when we were talking about Yamamoto. His only real issues is that nowadays a lot of other characters just have a little bit more value and oomph in what they do, and let's just get right into it. Number 4 on the list, we do have Retsu. Now Retsu is the power link stop potions plus 5 character. She has weakened defense as well as weakening on her special move along with the heal mechanic. This makes her one of the best nukers for speed in terms of guild quests for range Soul Reaper week. Berserker 20%, bruiser of 20%, debilitator plus 5 seconds, devastation 40%, frenzy. She does have guard break, which is really nice. Some people don't I've seen a lot of people argue and they're like, oh, spite, SP characters don't need guard break. No, SP characters do not need guard break. However, don't forget that like characters like Retsu with that first strong attack or the second strong attack, for example, she has the 40% magnification for strong attack, she has the 3000 length beam second strong attack, and then her third strong attack is the 1170 AoE distant, which in my opinion is superior to Eachine's standard full screen. I do think that she's better than Eachine just because personally I like weakening a lot more, and she's able to do everything from a distance, which is excellent for content like IT. Eachine does the same thing too, honestly. Like, he can attack from range, which is excellent. My only thing is like she's also a speed links off potion plus character. The thing that I want to talk about when it comes to guard break is when an enemy guards an attack, they essentially completely neuter that attack. Now if you have someone like Retsu with guard break, so let's say you have like 10,000 damage is just a random number, right? For example, let's just assume that she would deal 10,000 damage if she wasn't guarded, right? If she was to be guarded and you had to guard break with 2 of those 6 hits, you're essentially lowering her damage by 33%, right? So instead of dealing 10,000 damage, you'd be dealing 6,700. Now that is a huge difference when you're talking about clearing content. If the enemy has 8,000 health, for example, and you ended up getting guarded for like only 1,000, like this character could end up being left with literally like 300 HP, as opposed to just straight up not only killing him, but potentially spawning the next wave and then killing them too. So that's really important when you want to talk about these SP characters with guard break. And the same thing applies to the third strong attack as well, except it's not going to be as egregious. Like, say the third strong attack was to deal 10,000 damage, you have 8 hits on your third strong attack. Now you're going to essentially lower it by 25% of the hits. So instead of dealing 10k damage, you would be dealing 7,500, right? And since it's the third strong attack, technically you would be dealing more damage than the second. So having an SP character with guard break is not a bad thing. Going into her innate skills, she's also immune to paralysis, she has sprinter, and she also has read Soul Reaper dodges, which could be really good if Caleb decides to put more enemies with the dodge mechanic. Same thing with Eachine. I feel like these characters are going to be useful much later on, just because I feel like Caleb's been using this read blank dodge in order to try to sell these characters, which in my opinion is pretty scummy. She's also just and she's just an incredible character. Like, her first strong attack is the 40% magnification for a strong attack. Honestly, she could get lower than Eachine depending on how Caleb wants to push the new poise in single player content. As you guys might be aware, KLab is starting to put poise on single player enemies, starting off with the hard point event. They've done this with the dodge with Transcendent Zone, and then they made it significantly more annoying in content like Senkaimon, as well as the small and medium scroll quests. Like, they literally just gauge the interest, see if people will summon, and then they'll do that. So that's honestly my biggest concern. If they are to do that, this first strong attack could essentially be cucked, and but that's like a problem for a later date. As of right now, I do think that Retsu is a bit better than Eachine. I do think that Eachine will probably clear faster, unless you're talking about like Ultra IT, for example. I think that Retsu will be superior then. Next on the list, and sitting at number 3, and this one I think will trigger a couple people, and now we have Biake. We've run the numbers, and honestly, Biake is an incredible character, but a lot of people actually like Jushiro a bit more, just because Jushiro, 1, can auto, 2, you don't have to worry about anything, and on top of that, he hits so damn hard with his enhancer and his barriers. Now, going into Biake, he has a Berserker of 40%, Bombardment, no status elements, Bruiser 40%, Frenzy +1, Havoc 20%, and Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter is also Guard Break / Nullify range resistance. This character is excellent in 2 different guild quests, and if you're talking about normal guild quests, this character is useful in 4, which is really good. Giving this character like weakened defense or full stamina damage boost in content like guild quests or whatever you want to use him in, say epic raids as well, this character performs marvelously. His first strong attack is the 18% magnification for a strong attack. His second strong attack is the 960 AoE into the tracking vortex, which is really strong. The strength of this second strong attack is the equivalent of 2 strong attacks, and he also has a 16% a 16-second cooldown on it, which is really nice. Third strong attack is going to be the same as Kokuto, where it's going to be the 1200 into 810 vacuum into explosion. Strong attack overall, this character has incredible crowd control in the guild quest that he actually wants to participate in content like hard guild quest, for example. He does really well. Now, going into Jushiro, Jushiro's stupid. I'm not even gonna lie. Jushiro is actually surprisingly insane and resilient. He has the 18% magnification for a strong attack, which would normally be bad, but being able to push the enemies out of the way if you're doing manual play, trying to get a little bit of your health back, you're able to drain with his first, third, and his special move, as well as his normal attack damage string. He essentially has a heal built into his special move if you want to use it. Speed attribute captain normal attack damage plus 20% to go along with his bruiser of 60% when you take into account his soul trait, debilitator plus 2 seconds, enhancer plus 10 seconds, flurry plus 1. He also has guard break and multi-barrier plus 2, and he also has poised, so he won't be staggered. The fact that this character can auto IT at 2 out of 5 is stupid. Literally no character can do that outside of I actually don't know any character that can do that. like maybe 6th anniversary Aizen, but even then it's not as consistent as Aizen. A freeze immunity and sprinter built into his innate skills. This character is just nuts. I highly recommend that you try to get yourself a copy of this Jushiro. The only problem with this Jushiro, honestly, is that he is a limited unit, whereas Biake is a premium pool unit. But keep in mind that, like I said, we're judging this based on a 1 of 5 T15 at most character, right? And that, in my opinion, Jushiro performs a lot better at 1 out of 5 than Biake does. Next and finally on the list, we do have, of course, Noelle. Now, I get what you're thinking. Oh, but she has the first strong attack that Biake has, but like she doesn't have the same second strong attack. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. This girl has Hollow and No Affiliation Killer, which is pretty cool. She's gonna be the best nuke in the entire game. Her nuke literally deals 80% more damage than Arpuk Ichigo, who also has bombardment, weakening, and assuming that he also has weakened defense. Well, obviously you can give herself weakened defense as well. She's the best nuke for ranged Hollow weak. She's the best nuke for No Affiliation weak. She has a Berserker of 40%, Frenzy +1, Havoc 20% as her innate skill. She has increased status element chance against power attribute hollows and no affiliation enemies, which is really good, considering that she has a lot of range collision attacks. Now, normally range collision will hold the character back. However, Caleb decided to give her status element spiritual pressure boost plus 80%. This is not a spiritual pressure boost. This is a strong attack damage boost of 80%. The wording might sound like it's boosting your spiritual pressure, but it's actually not. It's the same thing with weaken defense. When you proc weaken defense on an enemy, you are actually effectively giving yourself a 30% damage bonus on that enemy. That is really, really important to note, because that means that like weaken defense, for example, defense is kind of like a wasted skill. But when you come down to like just raw damage numbers, this girl is dealing 80% more damage than Biake with her first strong attack, not taking into account the fact that she probably procced weakening on one of them. She's able to proc weakening whenever she wants. She has the revive mechanic on her special move. She's the power link slot potions +5 character, super power link slot potions +5 character, meaning that you're going to be using this character in IT Ultra, Epic Raids, and on top of that, you will also be using her as the main runner in Guild Quest. At 1 of 5, this character does a better job than 5th anniversary Biake. That's actually quite stupid. Well, I mean, I guess if we're talking about 1 of 5. At 2 of 5, this Noelle does more damage than 5th anniversary Biake at max transcended. Just process that. This character at 2 of 5 does more damage than 5th anniversary Biake at max transcended. When she has her spiritual pressure boost, which lasts 20 seconds, which she has range collision on her first and second strong attack. That's dumb. That's actually legit stupid. Frenzy +1, Berserker 40%, Bombardment, Weakening on her special move, Debilitator +5 seconds, Bruiser 20%. Going into her innate skill, she does have Havoc there, and she also has Guard Break and Sprinter. Now, sure, you can argue like, oh, but Biake has Sharpshooter. Yeah, that's fine. Like where are you using Sharpshooter at? Like, she has no affiliation week, so it's not like you're gonna be using her there. Like, I mean, it's not like Sharpshooter is gonna be useful there. Oh, extreme co-op. Okay, cool. Like one area. Maybe some Senkaimon stages, one Senkaimon stage where your character gets locked. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Personally, I do believe that Noelle is better than Biake as of right now. She has a lot more uses. She has a little bit more flexibility. Biake has the added benefit that he is a premium pool character, and I do think that these characters, in my opinion, overall are just busted. These 3 characters alone are just absolutely insane. I do think that how'd I put it? Like, if I had to give these characters tiers and stuff like that, like Noelle would be like tier 0 along with Jushiro. Tier 1 would be Biake, and then like tier 3 you'd have Retsu. In terms of flexibility on where you can use these characters is just absolutely nuts. But overall, I mean, that's my list. If y'all have a problem with it, y'all can deal with it. Y'all can leave the daily dislike and then call it a day. But I'm gonna leave it, guys. That's grind. I'll catch you up. Stay mad, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.